Welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast, brought to you by Papa John's. Papa John's is a proud sponsor of the Inside the Dam podcast. Hit them up on their website and search for any deals that they might have going on. Search Papa John's in Minot. They can also be reached at 701-852-7272. That's 852-PAPA to place an order over the phone. Big thanks to Papa John's for sponsoring the podcast. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Dalton Davis. I'm going to be your first host here. We're also going to be joined with Logan later in the show. We have three athletes here. We got a softball player, baseball player, and track runner on the show today. First, we are joined with, I'm going to butcher your name, but Gabi Dawyduk? Dawyduk. I can't. Okay, senior pitcher out of Winnipeg, Manitoba. Gabi, how are we doing?
Pretty good. How are you?
I am great. Thank you for asking. Well, first off, you pitched in a win yesterday, so we'll just go straight into that. And you did a complete game the last two games. So how have the last couple of games been going for you?
Yeah, I think it was a huge weekend for us, especially those first two games against Concordia. They were 14-0, undefeated in conference so far. So those are two huge wins for us. And then same thing with Winona. They're pretty even with us in the standings, so that was a big split for us too yesterday.
They were 14-0, and you just complete game shutout, and you were aced it.
Oh, I don't think it wasn't a shutout, but complete game.
Complete game. Sorry.
Yeah.
5-2 win. I apologize. Okay. Also, you are a pitcher and a hitter. I want to ask you which one you like doing more, because you are hitting a 341 career average, but a season ERA of 2.22. Which one do you like doing more? Because you do both great job.
Honestly, depends. I love them both. Depends which one's going better, honestly. If I'm hitting good, I love hitting, but if I'm pitching good, I love pitching.
So which one's going better right now? In your opinion, you're doing great at both.
I don't know. I mean, I haven't thrown this much since my freshman year, so I'd probably have to say my pitching's been pretty good.
Why haven't you thrown that much since freshman year?
I had some shoulder problems my middle 2 years, my junior and my sophomore year.
Did you still hit because of those?
Yeah, I did when I could, yeah.
Yeah. So this is your first year coming back from injury of pitching?
I came back last year and threw a little bit, but not too much. It was pretty hard on me. So
it was pretty hard on you last year?
Yeah.
Are you doing better this year?
Yeah, definitely.
What?
I've thrown a lot more innings than I have already compared to last year, so
yeah.
It's been good. Yeah.
Were you just a reliever last year?
Yeah. 2-3 innings max usually.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which
one do you like doing more, starting or relieving?
I don't know. I haven't really started a lot of games since my freshman year, but I forgot how much I loved it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has it been an adjustment for you?
No.
Really? You just take it as it comes?
Yeah. For me, it's the same mentality. Just go in and get the job done.
Yeah. Also, I want to touch on, so your softball team has had 3 different head coaches in the last 3 years. How, you're being a senior, how has that transition been for you?
I think every coach has been different. They've all been smooth transitions. Girls have liked everyone we've had, so it's been good.
Do you like the newest coach so far?
I do, yeah. I love our whole coaching staff this year. They're all great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Has it been rougher to go coach to coach, or just transitioning from like different practices and schedules and all that?
No, I think we're pretty good with just kind of going with the flow, adapting to the new coaches. So
yeah,
the transitions have been good.
Yeah, and it's paying off this year. You guys are doing really well. How has the team dynamic been this year as far as like off the field stuff?
It's been great. We all get along really well on and off the field, and especially of late, we're just everything's kind of meshing together on and off the field. I mean, we're playing pretty good. I think pretty good start so far, so
yeah.
Can't complain.
Do you guys do any like team bonding or anything?
Yeah, we're usually pretty good about taking that on ourselves to just go and hang outside of school and softball.
Yeah, take it off the field.
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna take it off the field. What is your major as a student here at Minot State?
Communication Sciences and Disorders.
How have you been enjoying that your last 4 years?
It's good. I really love it.
Are you thinking about graduate school next year?
Yeah, I'm actually planning on going to graduate school here for the next 2 years.
Really?
Yeah.
How is that? I guess because we know that the communication studies, they're really good here. How has that been for you?
I love it. I love the school. The professors are all really good. My peers. Everything's great.
Yeah.
Learning a lot.
Hey, that's what you're here for, right?
Yeah.
Are you an do you think you're a student first or athlete second, or other way around?
Come season, I probably shouldn't say this, but athlete over student.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't tell my professors that, though.
Yeah, that's got to be tough to do because you got to keep good grades, or you got to keep like all A's, right, in order to get to the graduate school.
It's pretty competitive, yeah. Yeah.
Is it rough having to manage like doing sports while keeping good grades?
It's a lot, yeah, especially in the season. You're missing multiple days of school every week, so it's important to have good time management.
Is your time management good?
Yeah, that's pretty good overall.
You've developed that skill over time?
Yeah.
That's good.
You gotta.
You have to, yeah. You're also from Winnipeg, Manitoba. Has your family been able to come down and watch you?
Yeah, minus my first year, it was COVID, so they couldn't come down a whole lot. But
Oh,
the
yeah.
last 2 years, especially, they try and come down whenever they can. They're actually coming down this weekend for senior weekend, so that'll be good.
Yeah. Speaking of senior weekend, how are you feeling about that?
It's sad.
Yeah.
I'm not ready for it to be done. This season's gone by. These 4 years have gone by way too fast, but it's gonna be a lot. I know we're all excited for it, but it's sad that it's coming to an end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you excited about conference play though? I think you guys can do some real damage out in the playoffs. And
For sure.
how are you feeling, I guess, going into that?
Pretty good. I think we're still on that. We're still going up.
Yeah, we're still on that incline.
Yeah, that's
So,
the word I was looking
yep.
for. Yeah.
Cool. Well, other than that, do you have anything that you want to bring up or anything you want to say, shout out?
No. Saying this has definitely been my favorite year of softball here at Minot State, so I'm looking forward to the last 3-4 weeks of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, good luck to you.
Thank you.
Winning definitely helps the happiness of the program, that's for certain.
Definitely.
And we will be rooting for you. We're going to take a quick break here, and then we're going to go shoot it to Logan, and he's going to be bringing you a pitcher and hitter for the Minot State baseball team. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast, brought to you Papa John's. I am Logan Dean, back with our second amazing student athlete that we have tonight, and Dalton will be back with our third and final guest of the night. With me today is a baseball player here at Minot State. He is a pitcher and also an outfielder from Albuquerque, New Mexico, and he currently has a .455 batting average this season. With me today is Ricky Apodaca. Ricky, thank you for joining me tonight.
What's going on? Thank you for having me.
So before we get into some of like the baseball questions here, just like a little get to know you question. Do you have a favorite restaurant here in Minot?
Restaurant in Minot?
Yeah.
28 Taste and Taps, but they closed it and then they moved it to. It's at the new train depot, I think. Yeah, and they had this breakfast burger that was pretty good, but.
Would you say that's your favorite thing to get there?
100%. I'd go there like once a week, but then they stopped serving it, so we had to go to the depot, and they don't serve it anymore. So now, I don't know. I guess now, I have no idea. No, I'm in shambles right now.
A little easing into baseball here. When did you first get into baseball? Playing baseball?
Since I can remember. So I'd say probably 4, and been playing it ever since. My parents put me in all the sports, and I just landed on baseball.
So did they put you in basketball, football?
Yeah.
Everything pretty much?
I was in everything.
But you fell in love with baseball?
Yeah. I don't know why. It's a failing sport. You fail more than you succeed. I don't know why I did it.
So besides your parents, did you have any motivation to keep working as you were throughout your baseball career, throughout high school? And then it says you're also a transfer from a community college. So did you have any motivations throughout high school to your community college days and then your days here?
I guess the motivation I would get is just from guys I'd play with. So watching guys who excel at the game, just seeing how they prepare, how they go through their work, how they manage. And I just kind of like the process of what they would do and how they would go about things, just picking the brain. And I guess that would just give me the push because I used to be lazy. I used to show and go. If I had it, I had it. If I didn't, I didn't.
So how would you feel? So speaking about coming from community college, from a JUCO to a Division II level, how would you, I guess, just talk about your experience from going from a JUCO to a D2, like the competition level and like everything else, like outside of like game-wise, like practices and stuff.
Like practices? Well, a lot of JUCO baseball players, especially the guys, if they watch this, will know that JUCO practices are from, it feels like sun up to sundown. And I remember my first practice here, it was, I think, 2.5 hours. And I walked up to the coach, and I was like, is this like how normal practices are? And he's like, yeah, we're not allowed to go past that. Because in JUCO, I mean, you're there for 4 or 5 hours sometimes, especially on scrimmage days, because you'll play 22 innings. So, yeah, it's a long day. But competition-wise, I believe guys are good in all levels. I think the higher up you go in levels, the deeper the roster gets. So I think overall, talent-wise, is pretty good.
So do you have any like favorite MLB players you like try to like model? I guess model your game.
Yeah,
after?
model my game after.
Yeah, or any favorite players growing up? I say.
Well, I'm a big Yankees fan, so of course I grew up watching Derek Jeter. So I guess how Derek would carry himself and how he would act. I try and do my best, but my teammates know I'm far from him, the way I act on the field. So I guess it's more of just like a passionate level. So I guess now it'd be like a Bryce Harper, where I'm just super passionate about the game. So I kind of get a little rowdy sometimes.
So I guess since it says you are like a two-way player, a pitcher and also an outfielder, what do you have like a favorite that you are, and like what kind of preparation do you go for? Like just talk about the preparation you have for
the
each,
preparation
I guess.
For it. Well, let's see. Preparation for both. Pitching, I'd say pitching is harder because you only get so many times off the mound a week before your outing. So you really got to make sure what you're doing in your preparation. Then once we step on the mound, all we do is just compete from that point on. Hitting is more of cues, finding what works for guys. Some guys, every hitter's different, so it's basically just finding cues, and whatever works, and then you just go with it.
And you just talked about how like trying to like how you deal with like other like batters. So do you like what goes through your mind? So like after you like strike out or get like the first batter out, like what goes through your mind for like the next like couple? Like do you go with like the same pitching approach?
Like when I'm pitching, yeah, the pitching approach is naturally the same. It's just attack hitters. Let's try to get out of this inning as quick as we can. And sometimes I get away from myself. Tend to walk guys, make some poor decisions. But other than that, the main focus is just attack. Hitting's already hard enough, so let's not make it easier on them.
And so how about from the opposite side of the plate? Like from like a batter standpoint, how do you go about like, say you like haven't faced a pitcher yet and you're like, what goes through your mind?
So yeah, that would fall into like the approach, like what your natural approach is as a hitter. All hitters are different. For me, I naturally just think see the ball up. If I'm on time with a fastball, then everything else, if it stays up, I can get myself in a good position and make an attempt at it. So
a little side note it has here, it says you have a 73 career strikeouts in only 46.2 innings pitched. I guess how does that like make you feel about like the hard work you've put in, and like does it make you want to like I guess go even harder, I would say?
Well, the thing about those stats is that it looks good on paper and all, but if you look at the walks is just that's where it's conflicting. I would like to have the walks lower, of course, but it's nice to get the strikeouts. I believe more efficiently though to help the team is if I can last longer, because I tend to last maybe 5 innings because I throw so many pitches because I walk 4 guys. So
before we get into a couple more questions, I would like to thank our sponsor of the Inside the Dam podcast, Papa John's. Hit them up on their website and search for any deals that they may have currently going on. Search Papa John's in Minot. They can also be reached at 701-852-7272. That's 852-PAPA to place an order over the phone. And once again, big thank you to Papa John's for sponsoring the podcast. So before we get into any more baseball questions, what's your major here? And it also says you're a grad student.
Yeah.
So, like, is your major still the same as what you were?
No, so I got my degree in business, but I'm going for sports management in my graduate. I get done in the fall.
That's good to hear. Are you glad that it's slowly wrapping up?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm not a fan of school, so I'm ready to get on with the next chapter.
What do you plan on doing after you graduate? Plan on going back home, sticking around here?
Well, what I would naturally like to do is try an internship with an affiliate team and then just work on business or baseball operations of the team and stay around the game a little bit.
Besides baseball, do you have any like hobbies like outside like practice and games? Do you have any hobbies outside of that?
Yeah, I play a lot of video games. I try to stay away from it, but sometimes, like when a new game comes out, like the show, MLB The Show comes out, like I'll be glued to that for a little bit. I love basketball. My teammates will laugh at me, but it was a one-time injury, so because I get chirped because I rolled my ankle one time, so every time I get chirped, every time we play basketball, it was a one-time deal. Still hear about it to this day, but yeah, I enjoy playing basketball too.
For sure. I'm with you on the MLB on the show for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Grinding that as soon as it came out. Still currently doing it.
Oh, I know.
So you just currently talked about an injury that was like outside of baseball.
Yeah.
But do you have any that happened in baseball that have like affected you, that have like affected your career? And then like how did you bounce back from the injury if you've had one?
So last year I didn't play last year. I tore my UCO. So I was out the entire year. The preparation was hard, but I had a guy on the team, Parker Collette, who also had labrum surgery. So we kind of went through that recovery process together, and we were with each other the entire day in the trainer. So it was kind of nice to have someone with me, so I could go through that journey together. Like, hey, how's your arm feeling? How's your recovering? Stuff like that. And then this year, I dislocated my shoulder pitching, so that's why I don't pitch anymore. I'm just hitting. I'm DHing. And so, yeah, that's unfortunate, but it's part of the game. Injuries are part of the game, and you kind of just take it how it is, and you try to look for the positives and not look in the rearview mirror, I guess.
For sure. I'm not gonna lie, injuries do suck. I feel you on that. And do you have any like personal or team goals for like the remainder of your guys' season?
Team goals, just make the conference tournament and do something with it. I believe the way this team has operated as a group is promising. Like, everyone's gonna look at the record and be like, I don't know if you guys got it, but like just the vibe, especially this last weekend. Like, I know it's easy to say, yeah, we won, so the vibe's good, but I don't know what it was. There's something about the vibe. All the guys were just like, we give up runs, so what? Hey, let's go score. So the guys are starting to come together more, and we're starting to see that, hey, if we get in, anything can happen. We can go on a run. For
sure. So I guess I have one more little question to kind of wrap things up. So what does I feel like I kind of sort of asked this a little bit, but what does like a typical week look like for you as a student athlete?
As a student athlete? I guess it's easier to say athlete because I'm pretty lazy on my homework, so I'll wait till we're on like the bus ride or something and do my homework all late. But the days, so today we'll have the day off, tomorrow we'll practice, Wednesday we'll have games, and then it's just, you get more in routine, especially later in the season when you have games on the midweek, and then you have games on the weekend. The days fly by. You'll have practice 2 times maybe, and just games.
For sure. Well, thank you, Ricky, for once again. Thank you, Ricky, for joining me tonight.
Can I ask a question?
Go ahead.
Have you made it to World Series yet on the show?
Personally, I would say I'm not like the greatest at it, so I wouldn't say I've ever made it that far. but I would say I'm like decent at it. I'm more of a 2K, guy than
2K.
anything.
I see,
So
I see.
How about you?
I almost made it, but we went on the road. I got to 8. I think it was like 8:52, and then
You didn't bring the game console with?
No,
Don't got time?
No, we never have time. We're at the field for like 10 hours, but yeah.
Well, thank you, Ricky, once again. Next up, we'll have our third and final athlete of the night, and Dalton will be back with him. And we'll be right back after this quick break.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Inside the Dam podcast, sponsored by Papa John's. Once again, thank you, Papa John's, for sponsoring this episode. We are with our final athlete, Ramon Duran, junior sprinter from California for the Minot State track team, number 28th in the national rankings for the 400 meters hurdles. Ramon, how are we doing?
Pretty good, Dalton. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. First of all, yeah, number 28 in the country in D2 right now. How's that feel?
It feels pretty good, honestly. It's kind of like a shocker at the same time. I think you set these goals for yourself, and then when you kind of start seeing things start to work out, then you kind of surprise yourself. So, but definitely it's a good feeling for sure. Well, there's a little pressure there, I guess, because now you just want to keep improving, but overall pretty good feeling.
Yeah. So you got to get top 16, right, in order to qualify?
I believe so, yeah. Top 16 in the nation will go. So there's like a qualifying mark that you can hit for the provisional mark for the NCAA, but if over 16 people hit that mark, you still got to be in the top 16. So
right,
top 16 is the goal.
What is that mark?
53.2. So it's about 0.2 of a second faster. But I'm pretty sure there's already over 16 people that have hit that time.
Yeah.
So it would have
to be faster
than that. Yeah.
How are you feeling about that? Do you think you can drop that time?
Yeah, I definitely think it's possible. I think the fastest time right now in the NCAA is about a 51 low. And then, kind of all the times basically are pretty neck and neck between that 51 and those really high 53s.
Right.
So we're trying to look at probably dropping a second and a half or so. So a low 52 or a really high 51 is probably my best bet.
Yeah.
Going to put me in a good spot. So.
Well, you ran that record or your PR in Dickinson, and I remember you saying that you were fighting some wind that day too. So do you think in the right conditions and obviously a little more training, but what do you think the goal is?
Yeah, there definitely was a little bit of wind. I wouldn't put that as my excuse as not going faster. I think the 400 hurdles is just a race that is a lot of discipline and then consistency. So like you said, that was my first race. So I think a little bit more under my belt, a little more training, and then just kind of trusting my coach and trusting myself and my pattern, believing in myself. There's kind of like a rhythm we go on for how many steps you take between the hurdles, which is I take 15 steps, but the top athletes in the world can take 13 or so. So it's just basically about being consistent and then just like really executing when I get on the track. And I had a pretty good execution that first race. We just raced last weekend. So that one I had to alternate on hurdle 9, which was, cost me probably a second and a half or so. So it's just little things like that you got to make sure that you execute. So I, like you said, more training is really what's just going to get me to that time. But
right.
So.
Do you think that I know track is a really big technical sport, and it's, any little thing can cut off time, valuable time, and so and it's brutal because you only get to run once that day, so you've only got 3 more times to be able to hit the mark that you want to be able to hit. Do you think that there's pressure that comes along with that?
Yeah, there's definitely some pressure. Like you said, we don't have that many more meets to go to, hit the mark that I want to hit. So there's a little bit of pressure, but I think, like I said, it's a lot about just trusting in your training and then just being confident that you can hit the mark you want to hit. I definitely think it's completely possible to do so. And And, there comes some pressure, I guess, for sure, that, because like you said, you get one race. There's no, that's not like some of the other events where jumps or something where you can kind of get a couple tries. Once the gun goes off, it's you either do it or you don't. And luckily for me, I think 400 hurdles is a lot longer of a race, so there might be a little more room for error, but it's still very slim. Like I said, you take the wrong leg or chip up your steps or something like that. Yeah, it's going to cost you. Right. That time you need. So.
Other than that, this is your first year here at Minot State. You transferred here from Hartnell Community College all the way from California. Did you ever think you'd be in Minot, North Dakota after coming from there?
Yeah, no, definitely not. It was definitely a new transition, everything, but when looking for a college to transfer to, I think Minot just had a lot of this stuff I was looking for at the time. So, yeah, no, definitely I had no plans to come to North Dakota or Minot ever. I didn't even know what Minot was until I, got recruited to come out here. But it's definitely worked out pretty well for me compared to, where I was at and stuff like that.
Yeah. So. I know you guys have gone through two different coaches this year. How's the transition been for that?
It's definitely been a different transition. I haven't had an experience like that, I think, in my career so far. But I think that just trusting in, your coaches, and I think the coaches have done a really good job about, accepting that there is this transition going on instead of just ignoring that like nothing's happened. Sure. It's good to acknowledge that obviously we've gone through this transition of new coaching and stuff. But they've done a really good job about, covering that with us, and then, really still executing that. We still have a goal: go to conference, go to nationals, get better, really. Right. So I think that's still the mission, regardless of what's going on in the coaching staff.
Yeah. Cool. Well, other than outside the track field, how has your transition to Minot been? I know that you're a long ways away from home. This is probably the farthest you've been from home since coming to college. How's that transition been just Minot as a whole, not just the track team?
Yeah, so I like I said, I went to community college, so I just commuted back and forth from home. So I lived at home for the last 2 years and stuff. So this is my first time, away from home, and it was a little scary at first. I'll admit that for sure, but it's definitely been a good transition for me, mentally and stuff like that. I've enjoyed it, honestly, being on my own, and then training, and then school's been going good, and just being somewhere new, just open yourself up to different opportunities. Mm-hmm. I think that's like a lot of times we're afraid to go out and try something new or just explore something new because we don't know what that new is going to be. And I think just taking that leap and then going out and trying, you could surprise yourself, like, oh, this isn't as bad as I thought, or you just open yourself up to new opportunities and experiences that you would never guess could be possible for yourself. So right. I think that's something I definitely taken out of just coming all the way out here. But I've enjoyed my experience. So
yeah, I learned a lot in the last 8 months or so. Just it seems like a little bit amount of time, but it seems like a lot amount of time, but in almost a little in your head, But has the I guess I want to get into your like philosophy of like why. What's your why? Because you were telling me earlier you needed. Everyone has their why for running, and I feel like running in circles, when you just think about, track is just running in circles. But for the trainer, like for the people actually doing it, what is the behind your reason for wanting to get better and wanting to get on that track every single time you do it?
Yeah, I think that, every athlete should have some kind of why or reason. I think a lot of times we struggle to figure out, like, well, what is the reason? Because some athletes have just been doing this for their whole life since they were young. So they're just accustomed to that's who they are. So they never, I think, stop to think like, okay, why am I doing this? Because, there's days on the track all the time where I get out there and I have a tough day, and then I'm just like, man, why am I putting my body through this? Or, mentally I'm just drained, physically drained. For myself, I think out of high school and just in junior college, I just knew that I had more in me. And I think when we get to a point as athlete where we're just physically, mentally, just like, this is all I got. I'm not going to get any better, or, you know, some people lose the passion for the sport, whatever it may be. Then that's when you're done. And for me, I just wasn't satisfied with where my career was at for track. So I think that kept me going. So a lot for my own potential, like just knew I had more potential in me. So I just wanted to figure out. I mean, that's the goal, is to see how good can I be, really. And for me, as a starting athlete, I was very, I mean, I was good in high school and I was, you know, decent in junior college, but I wouldn't say I was ever talented per se, as, you know, and there's a lot of athletes that I've met on my journey that are talented athletes. And what I mean by that is that they're just naturally more gifted than other people.
Right.
More talented. They
longer legs.
Just if it's genetics or if it's just you're just good at what you do. But I think that the talent can only take you so far, because there's plenty of people I know that are talented that they're done with track, or they're done with whatever sport they do because they just don't have the passion for it. So the talent can only take you so far, I think. And then there's that grit and there's that like desire and that skill to actually go out and, you know, perform and just work on your craft. And I think that's always going to outbeat the talent eventually, even if it takes time. And I think that's, for my story at least, that's how it's been, is that it's not about the talent, it's just about the work ethic and the skill. I mean, I came from junior college running a 57 over the 400 hurdles. So now I run a 53. And same thing with my open 400. I had never run under 52 seconds, indoors or outdoors. So in my indoors, I ran a 48.7. So I think it's just gone to test a lot. Like, if you put the work in, that you can get the results you want. So I think that for me to, you know, kind of glorify the fact that, like, you don't have to be talented to really, to whatever your goal is. It doesn't have to be athletics. Whatever you want to do in your life, you could do that. You just have to be disciplined about it. And yeah, that's good philosophy to have. I think
you talk a lot about that, and then also I want to know what your plans are after high school. I know you're a professional communication major here at Minot State, but also do you want to see track in your future as well?
Yeah, no, I definitely want to see track. I think when I came here, it really kind of opened my eyes up more to, like, hey, listen, like, maybe, you know, track can be a possibility. I don't think I ever thought about it much in high school or college as, like, yeah, I want to be a pro track runner. I think there's a lot of people that obviously, like, want to be pro sports players. But now that I've gotten here, I've kind of thought, like, okay, maybe this can be a possibility if I really just, like, put my mind to it. So that's definitely on my radar for sure. But like you said, I'm a pro-com major too, so I've always been interested in business, entertainment, and media, and also sports. So I could also, land myself a spot in a career kind of like that after.
Right.
But definitely track has been on my radar, I guess.
That's the goal until you can't run no longer.
Yeah, I mean, I figure you can only run so long, and if I could do that, if I have the ability to do that and go pro or run at a professional level, I don't see why I wouldn't do that, because I do enjoy going out regardless of how hard it can be on my body and my mind. It's you get a greater reward, I think, from it, because a lot of people ask the typical track question, like, oh, why do you run in circles, or so yeah, we run in circles, I guess, but I think you get a certain reward from, I mean, it's like anything. You put the work in for whatever you're working towards, and then you see a result that you like, or you finish a race and you might not get the result, but you feel good after. Then you just get this kind of sensation, like yeah, I did that,
Yeah.
So it's accomplishment, I guess.
What you get out what you put in, and obviously you've been a example of that. Being, I mean, you said it yourself. You started last year as a 57 in the 400 meter hurdles, and now you're 28th ranked in D2 right now. Do you think if you would have told yourself that last year, do you think you would have been shocked, or do you think you would have been like, yeah, that's the work I put in?
No, I would have been shocked completely. Yeah, no, I would have been completely shocked. I think having, for all athletes, really just like the confidence thing and like the self-belief, it's hard, because obviously we compete against other people, even if it's not track and field, so it's hard not to, I guess you compare yourself sometimes, and then, there's the self-doubt. But I think a lot of this self-talk and like mentally just being like, like you said, what you put in is what you're going to get out of this.
Right.
So, and that takes time. And a lot of times I think we give up before, we get those results. And that's why we don't see them, because, like I've been doing track since I was in high school. So this is like 6-7 years now. And, trust me, I didn't see any results. I mean, I went to JUCO 2 years and I ran good, but, nowhere near where I'm at now. So it's,
right.
But it's a long road, I think.
Yeah.
Staying consistent and just, you got to just trust the process, because it takes a lot of time.
Well, that's going to about wrap up this episode of Inside the Dam podcast. Ramon, thank you for joining us today.
Dalton.
Once again, we want to shout out our sponsor, Papa John's. They can be reached at 701-852-7272. That's 852-PAPA to place an order over the phone. Big thanks to them. That's going to wrap up our show for tonight. Stay tuned for next week. On Monday, we got 3 more athletes coming your way, and have a good night.